Hello, welcome to episode 15 of the Joint Operations Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brady J. Sadler.
And I am Adam Sadler.
I think we talked about this before, but I can't say my name cleanly. Brady J. Sadler.
I think it's you can't say anything cleanly.
Yeah, well, but the Sadler just sounds weird. I remember people asking me my name in school, like a substitute teacher. Like, how do you pronounce your name? It's Brady Sadler. And they're like, Satter? Saller? What a dumb name.
Salter.
Anyway, this is our 15th episode of our monthly podcast. It was weekly, then it became bi-weekly. Now it's monthly. Maybe it's going to be changing. I don't know.
Maybe it's once a quarter.
Whenever Kill Team announces something really cool, then
I will say that they've got a lot of Kill Team stuff to talk about this episode, which is exciting. But
it makes our name actually make sense. Today's episode is called.
I will say also, like before you get into the name, it's a highly anticipated name. There's a kind of a reason, like all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff been going on, and we'll probably get into like that first. Is like why we haven't had a podcast episode in a while with everything going on. If people don't keep up with Brady on social media and stuff. But anyway, what's the podcast episode name?
This episode is called Jake and Gouda, and it is very. I don't know. It's a very original concept, a buddy cop. Like two cops that shouldn't work together but do work together to solve a case. And there's Jake Towers and Detective Bob Gouda. And the reason I'm calling this Jake and Gouda because I thought it'd be awesome to have a franchise that was like Jake and Gouda, and it's like a really serious buddy cop story, action cops and everything, and nobody ever really acknowledges that one of the guys' name is Bob Gouda, even though it's like this really weird, stupid name.
I'm picturing Sean Astin with a mustache, like from Stranger Things.
But he's not wearing a bald cap. He's not shaved the top of his head. He's got to be bald on top because that's what I always see. But yeah, so
Gouda, Bob Gouda.
The reason this came up is Adam and I were going to Purdue. I had an event, the BoilerCon yesterday on Saturday, and we were driving to West Lafayette, and we were going to get some Starbucks, and I forget if it was you or me, mispronounced bacon Gouda, because we always get bacon Gouda sandwiches, but I sound like Jake and Gouda, and we started like laughing, talking about these cops, Jake and Gouda, and made this big long story about them, and I was like, we gotta write a book about this, and I still kind of do, but if I do write a book about cops, it's gonna be a little more serious than Jake and Gouda. But
I was pushing back that it should be Blake and Gouda, because it should be two last names, like it should be Jason Blake and Bob Gouda.
That's the thing, is it should, but the reason it's funnier is because it's not. It's like, why does he go by his first name? He go by his last name. It just sounds funny. Anyway, that's the name of our episode. But like Adam said, we've been gone a while. We've been, besides like the new year and the fantastic world news that we're all dealing with is just just so uplifting and inspiring. We've also been hit with a series of weird events. I think we talked about last time we had a podcast. You already had your job, I think.
Well, last time our last episode was when we had our daughters in to talk about Iridia.
That was a while ago,
which we're still playing, by the way. Not our daughters, but
yeah, they both dropped out.
We still have our campaign going on with our wives, and we'll talk about that too. But the last episode was, I think, February 11th was when I saw it on the Apple Podcast. But yeah, I was actually one of the things that happened was I actually changed jobs. I know I just got that job back in December. But I just could not deal with going into an office. I just couldn't do it anymore. And I also got this interesting opportunity that popped up that I had to take where I'm kind of transitioning out of software development. I'm getting more into product management. So I accepted a software product manager job at Stanley Black & Decker, which I started a couple weeks ago. So I've been doing that for a couple weeks. And it's remote. It's going well so far, so that's exciting.
Yeah,
but it's been keeping me kind of busy. So, but that's what's going on my end. On top of some other personal things, but Brady has more on his end that he's dealing with. So.
He's probably referring to the fact that I haven't been able to walk since February 23rd. So February 23rd is a funny date because I finished writing a book in like 3 days. It was called Emerald Decay, and it's since already released, so it's available now. It's online. You can get it for free if you're subscribed to our Substack, where you get this episode drops. You get this book for free. So go sign up on Substack, get on the mailing list. You get a free ebook. You can also buy it physically if you want. But that's not the real story. The real story is the day I finished writing that, I was all hyped up and jazzed. Like, I'm going to take the trash out. I'm going to go have some fun tonight because I just did a cool thing.
And this was a Iridia day too. We were about to play.
Yeah, play Iridia. It was on a Saturday. No, it was a Sunday. We were playing on a Sunday. So anyway, I was taking the trash out. It was still kind of chilly out, but there wasn't much ice in my driveway. But there's like one little patch by like my garage door. So I put my trash out on the curb and I come back in. I'm walking normal. Nothing's really different. but I step on that one little patch of ice and I wobble, and like I feel like I have good reflexes, so my right foot went back to balance myself, but it also slipped on the ice, so it like twisted, and then I fell back my whole body on my right leg, and just I guess I landed the right way, or I snapped my fibula. I didn't realize that because I was embarrassed because I like landed on my back, bumped my head. I'm like, oh god, this is embarrassing. So I got up and I put my leg in front of me and I stood up, my whole body on my broken leg, and I just crumpled. I just like fell forward. I was like, oh, that's not good. So I hobbled on one foot back into the house. And I was like, Sarah, I think something's wrong with me. And I was like, lay on my back, and yeah, apparently I broke my leg. So I haven't been able to walk since then. I've had surgery a few weeks ago. They put a little what do you call it? Plate on my fibula and put some screws in there and stuff. Got me all fixed up. So that's all healing. I don't have a cast on or anything, so that's nice. I just have a boot I have to wear once in a while. But yeah, it really set me back a bit. So I haven't been able to work out, haven't been able to get ready for pickleball season or anything like that. But I have been writing. So on top of the Emerald Decay that I just wrote, I also wrote another novelette, I guess they call them. It's like shorter than a novella, kind of like a short story, but it's called In Short Order. It's a Ransel Osbury story based in the Malice of Light world. So it's like a prequel. It's like my version of The Hobbit. If my Malice of Light series was Lord of the Rings, this would be my Hobbit. So that's gonna be
you've heard it first here. Brady's comparing his book.
Yeah, he thinks it's just like I think it's better than The Hobbit personally, but I'm not a big Tolkien prose fan, but I love the Lord of the Rings, the world, and everything. But anyway, that's beside the point. But anyway, that's coming out probably in June because I'm dropping the second Relic book in May, so I'd like to give it a little breathing room.
Speaking of which, I did read it.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
That was another thing that happened where I had some downtime. I actually read a book. Fairly quickly. Well, not as quick as the first one, but that was because I was doing other stuff, dealing with job stuff and everything. But I did find time to finish reading it, and I guess I can talk more about that at the end when we talk about what we've been reading.
You actually
I actually have something to say, so I'm going to save it.
But I will say one more thing about Relic. So anybody on any listeners out there, some of you might be on Facebook. I don't know, people use Facebook a lot. There's a group on Facebook that I encourage you all to join. It's called Books of Horror. And that's like just a fan site for anybody who likes to talk about horror books and indie authors. But they have a thing called the Indie Book Brawl, and that's going to be happening in September. But Relic Myers and the Rhythms of Ruin was chosen as one of the preliminary contestants for the Indie Brawl. So the voting is going to happen this week on Friday the 4th, April 4th. So everyone better join that group and vote for Relic, because I'd love to see how it does against other indie horror books. But also, if I get in there, it means it's going to be a lot of sales for the book, because anybody who votes has to go buy the book and read it. So any books who happen to get in this brawl just get a boost in sales, which is something I desperately need because I just need more visibility right now. So yeah, go vote for Relic Myers and Rhythms of Ruin on Friday, April 4th. That's your homework for this week. So now on to more fun things than games, right? Talk about games maybe. That's something else, some other update I'm missing. I forget.
I don't.
I should have made notes. We should make notes sometimes. But no, let's just talk about some tabletop games. That's what we always start with. Because I got a buttload of tabletop games showing up at my door when I couldn't even get up to bring them into the house. We
actually do have a listener question today too, so
good.
Make sure we have something to talk about on that topic too. But yeah, games. Besides, we've been playing Iridia consistently. I think we're almost to the end of this campaign. We're getting close. I feel
it's hard to tell because it keeps going.
Well, we've hit level 10 in that game, and that's the highest level you can go. So we're we're super powered, but we're still doing stuff. So it's maybe
it's hard to discuss without because some people might care about spoilers, but there's a lot of content in that game for sure.
It's more than we thought. We thought we'd be done by now, but we're still playing it. Haven't lost interest, and this is actually one of the few campaign games we've actually played. I'm assuming we're close to the end, so to completion.
We're over the hump, yeah.
So I feel like we're going to finish it, which is great, and I'm still liking it. I'm still enjoying it. Still a great game. Still always recommend it.
I think the only thing that makes me antsy about the game is we've experienced it and it's great. It's I have no qualms with it, but I keep getting hit with Lands of Evershade ads every day on social media, and I just can't wait for that freaking game. So it's distracting me from wanting to just enjoy Iridia.
And kind of related to that, Brady's been getting a bunch of games, and one of them we tried out was actually in a similar vein. It was Agemonia.
I think it's pronounced Agamonia.
Agamonia?
Yeah, Agamonia.
Which is, I guess Brady can explain it more, but it's kind of like a storytelling crawling.
Yeah, I mean,
dungeon
I think
crawling
we
game.
both know as much as I've read the rules a little more than you, I think. But yeah, it's a pretty cool little. It's mostly a dungeon crawl, but it's got that cool like adventure book thing where it spreads open a spiral bound book, and you have like a map and then some special rules listed there. It's a little too much reading on for my taste because you have to do a lot of like big chunks of story text.
Yeah,
but
and it is like really big. Like a scenario has like a 5-paragraph introduction or something, so it's like your mouth gets dry.
Now, I will say they do have an app. I didn't download, but there's a free app that does all the narrations too, so that's pretty nice. I'm sure that's pretty handy.
Yeah.
I really like the story deck aspect because the game has this like separate. Every time you do a scenario, you'll have your scenario book set up. You'll have your normal components, but you have like a little story deck, and it's a deck you don't shuffle. It's just like it's referenced while you're playing. So like if you see some kind of mushroom on the board and there's a number there, you'll go toward it and you draw the numbered card, and it'll tell you what's there. You can interact with it, so it like kind of organically grows the scenario board over the course of a game. So it's like you don't have to have too much setup right away. There's like exploration.
It should
the mic again.
It should also be mentioned that it's one of those, what do they call them, storybook games, where it's like a spiral bound book that you.
Adventure book. I mean, I said that you weren't listening. I did this hand thing too.
Well, yeah, but people can't see you, so it's like the map is in the book. So you open up the book and lay it out on the table, and that's your scenario map. So
yeah, and they were trying to go after that whole like Gloomhaven appeal, where they have a lot of similarities to things like Gloomhaven, but this one is better than that because it's not just a combat simulator. It's every scenario board. It's just area based, so it's got cool, interesting looking maps.
The scenarios feel different too. Like they have different objectives, and it's not always. I mean, there's combat, but it's not really just like go kill everybody. And like the story cards can change things up quite a bit, and also it has that Iridia type thing where some of the story cards actually overlay the map and change the map up a bit, which is pretty cool. Lots of cool elements about it. There's some things I'm not crazy about, and most of it's like just the flow of like the story, stuff like that. It's very, very text heavy.
Yeah.
But one thing I do like is they kind of use our dice system, the Street Master's dice system, with the exploding dice and the stamina resources can boost your basically
mitigation. Dice mitigation.
But it's basically like no misses really. It's like you're seeing how many successes you can roll, and you can spend stamina and do things to boost that.
Yeah, it feels more like resource management as opposed to just like luck of the roll because you have so much mitigation and so much control over the results. But the other aspect I liked about it was the every hero is pretty unique, where they have their own hero tray and their own hero booklet that has a little story about them and stuff. The downside of that is like I don't like any of the heroes. Like theme wise, I'm not a big fan of the hero.
You don't
choices,
like Metajam or
yeah.
Metajam?
Yeah, I'm playing as a guy named It's spelled Metajam. It might be pronounced some other way, like Metajam or something, but it looks like Metajam, just like a four-armed lizard. But it's aside from that, like the theme is not really pulling me in because I'm more of a generic fantasy type of guy, just high fantasy. But
yeah, the one thing that bothers me is like these weird names for races and stuff like that. It's like just let's have an elf and a dwarf.
This is the thing is I love world building. I love like exotic fantasy worlds, but this game right off the bat with no introduction starts dropping down like all these different like special like race names for these peoples and like specific names where you just have no idea what it's talking about. So it doesn't really give you a good like segue into it. Some people might like that. To me it was kind of a turn off because I don't know how to pronounce any of these things. I don't know what they mean. So that like when you're reading that out loud, it just kind of makes it so people will just like tune it out, So
yeah, I love fantasy, but I am way more drawn to stuff that's very established, like Tolkien-esque fantasy. Yeah. Like I like elves. I like dwarves.
I wish the
orcs
genre was easily
halflings
classified because to me that's high fantasy, but some people will use that for for other things. But I wish that was just like if you said high fantasy, you mean like Tolkien knockoffs.
Yeah, I don't need super original fantasy. Like I don't care. It's like there's the same reason why like people can make endless stories in the real world, like in our own universe. Like you can tell all kinds of stories in this setting. You don't need to constantly just make up new species all the time.
There's the false equivalency of like originality when they think if people think if you change the name of something like this elf, it's like an elf but we call it this instead, but it's just like whatever, just say elf, make it easy. So yeah, Hegemony is pretty cool. I also got in too many games. I got Elden Ring from Steamforged, our buddies at Steamforged. That one I haven't dug too deep into, but like it looks like a really good production. Like it's one of those Kickstarters where you have a tower of boxes taller than me, but I was digging into it a bit and it looks really intriguing, really interesting because it's like a exploration game with tiles, but you also have combat encounters and visibly they nailed the theme with video games. So excited to dig more into that. I just haven't had a chance to really set it up and play it.
Man, that makes me really, really anxious for that Night Rain game.
Yeah, that's all. That's why I was setting it up today. I was like, just because I was playing that. What was it? Soul something.
Lords of the Fallen.
Lords of the Fallen on Xbox, and it made me feel like very Elden Ringy. So I was like, oh man, I want to play Night Rain. So I can't right now. So I was setting up some Elden Ring instead. So I'm checking that one out. Haven't got too far into it yet. There was another one too. I got the Street Master stuff from.
Oh yeah, that's an important thing. Our most recent game project was Street Masters, like basically reprinting and then adding a new expansion with the new owners of the game, which is Steamforged Games, and it finally is in delivery phase right now, so people are actually getting their product, which is very exciting. I actually got mine. I haven't got a chance to bust it open yet because I've just been busy with work and everything. I think I just got it on Friday. But yeah, it's a big box of stuff.
Yeah, it looks like I only opened up the new box because like I have everything. I mean, this is repackaged obviously, so I want to see how they package it. But the new box has a really cool insert. And
so you haven't opened the Aftershock box yet?
Not yet. No.
I'm really curious if how similar that is. If it's the exact same thing or
yeah, I think it's a different shape, but I'll check it out after.
Because I honestly never even got a copy of Aftershock back when we worked at Blacklist. Like I just never.
It'd be funny if we just paused this here and then opened it up and talked about it. That'd be something to talk about. But
it'd be funny. It'd be hilarious.
Should I pause it? No, because I mean you could like put it here's segue.
I think it'd be more interesting if we did a video about that or something.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I got all my bundled Street Master stuff I need to dig into, so I haven't had a chance to do that yet. And mostly this is just because it's hard for me to actually get up on my feet and bend over and do things. But they're all piled up in my game room right now to check out. And there was another. I thought we played another game recently, another new one we were learning. It was either before Agamonia or. It might have been that one. I was learning that one the other day when I was stuck down here. We had cleaners upstairs, so I was like learning that Arceus game, which is a dungeon crawl.
Never even seen that before.
Yeah, it's been. I got it from Kickstarter. It's like 5 years late, and I just should put it up there and never learned it. I just forgot I had it till recently. But yeah, a lot of Kickstarter games been. But let's the Kickstarter games are great. We have some new games, but nothing really to talk about as much as Iridia. But we do have news that hit us out of nowhere with that new Kill Team.
Two actually. Yeah. Two things of news.
Oh yeah, that was the week before.
I pre-ordered this last week, but Brady was freaking out last time we talked about, he got his rattlings finally for Kill Team, and he was just like over the moon about that, which I thought that was weird. Like this new edition of Kill Team comes out, and I've always loved Kill Team like as a concept. I like skirmish games, and I always thought Kill Team was cool, but Brady was never like that super into it. But this new edition came out, and they were announcing, there's going to be this solo joint ops mode. It's like that's awesome, that's really cool. And then the first expansion they announced is rattlings, and Brady couldn't believe it. Well, I have like lots of Kill Teams I like to play. Like I play the cops right now, and they're the Exaction Squad. They're kind of my favorite right now. But I'm always drawn to like religious zealot factions. I always like the crazy cults and stuff like that. Priests and clerics and stuff. And they didn't really have one. They had an Imperial agent faction, but it was kind of like you can use this with any Imperial kill team. It's kind of like a socketed kill team. It just didn't really excite me. But there was an expansion announced a few weeks ago called Blood and Zeal, which is a new kill team called the Sanctifiers, which is exactly what I want. Which is crazy because this first expansion they have after the one Brady freaks out about is the one that's perfect for me. It's like they're just designing this edition of Kill Team for us. It's pretty weird. But this Blood and Zeal box has a new Kill Team called the Sanctifiers, which are like the Imperial crazy Inquisition type guys that flamethrowers and holy books and stuff. There's a miraculist priest.
Miraculous, like a miracle worker?
Like I think called miraculous. She's got
that's just a cool name. I just never heard of that.
What do you call that when they have their hands stigmatas or whatever? Like their hands are nailed in or whatever.
I don't know. Beyond stigmata, I'm not sure what that.
But is. Yeah, it's really awesome. Exactly what I want. And they're the other faction is the Goremongers, which is kind of like a core worshipping cult of like these guys that like put their bodies on robotic legs and then they eat people and stuff. I guess they have some kind of a machinery on their backs, and it's powered by the meat of their victims, so they kind of have to keep killing and powering themselves with the flesh of the fallen. So it's interesting. It's a really great enemy faction. to fight against. So like I'm excited about that box, and that should be coming in a week or so. But on top of that,
Was the pre-order already? You already pre-ordered it?
yeah, it ships. I think it ships next weekend.
So it's the same wave with the Ratlings that I
Yeah.
ordered a separate Ratling box because I had to order more Ratlings because I got made fun of this because when I broke my leg, I didn't go upstairs very much, which is where my painting table is. But I like one day I had to like hobble up with my crutches, and Sarah's like, "What are you doing?" And I turned the light on upstairs because I had to see my Ratlings in the case because I hadn't seen them for like a week and a half, and it just felt weird not seeing them.
Yeah, I'm super excited because that's the first time. As much as I like Kill Team and how many Kill Teams I have, this is the first time the Kill Team is like what I want. This is what I identify with. This is what I want to play as. This is who I want to play on the table. So I'm super excited getting that box. But then on top of all that, AdeptCon was actually is going on right now.
Yeah, because today's Sunday. It's the last day, I think.
But on Wednesday night, they had Warhammer had their big reveal show about some of the new stuff coming out, and they were featuring Kill Team, and they have this new box called the Typhon box coming out, which is their first big box expansion since this new edition. And this one is Adeptus, Mechanicus, and Tyranids, and some cool like Tyranid themed terrain because it's about like the Tyranids busting out of the ground and stuff, and the Adeptus Mechanicus having to fight them off. But there's the Kill Team for the Tyranids are like only 5 like elite big Tyranid guys, like Ravagers, I think they're called. And then they have a bunch of little guys, but they're not like part of the Kill Team. And I was kind of confused about that, but as they talked more about it, apparently they have some greatly expanded joint operations rules in this expansion with NPO cards for the Tyranids. So like actually this will be the first time they have NPO like or faction specific NPO cards, because usually the NPO cards were kind of like universal. Here's a heavy gunner, here's a a light melee guy. Now they're going to have actually specific data cards for these Tyranids for some greatly expanded joint ops rules. So that's really exciting because that's kind of what we've been waiting for,
which is overdue. Like I was expecting them to actually come out and say, "Here's a joint operations box," but I think this is like pretty much the same thing. They're just like they're not labeling that because it's like too exclusionary. This is actually better because it's like here's some stuff for people who play normally, but if you also are wanting more like cohesive. Joint operation stuff. This is it. So
honestly, it would have been great to market it as a solo box because, like, if you buy this, you're playing as the Adeptus Mechanicus, and then you have all the NPO rules for the Tyranids. So it's perfect setup for a solo player to get into Kill Team because they can just grab this box and try it out. But yeah, the other thing is they specified the NPO cards for the Tyranids, but not for the Adeptus Mechanicus. So you assume the Tyranids are supposed to be the bad guys. So.
Yeah. which is great, but it's also. I think it might be a missed opportunity where they probably make good money with those limited data cards, but if they did that with like NPO cards as well, that'd be kind of cool. Where like every faction had their own like NPO cards, the behavior cards if you fought them, so like that's just more.
They could be doing that eventually. Like this also might be a way for them to test those expanded joint operations rules, and if they're like okay, well they go over pretty well, they're going to do more of them, I assume. So
yeah, I'm stoked for it. So Adam's going to buy that. I'm going to play it with my Ratlings, and
I'm honestly okay. I buy so much Warhammer stuff that I never play. I'm okay buying stuff that I probably will play. The only problem is painting. Like I'm still trying to paint that terrain, the Vulcus terrain, which I love that terrain, by the way. Like I'm super excited to have it painted, but I just do not. Like if you listen to this and you are active on Discord and like any kind of terrain painting
reasonably priced
service in the US, I'd be happy to like spend some money to get somebody to finish painting these because I've started it. They have like a what do you call that, a template. They have a guide about how to paint it because I have some sample stuff. I just cannot motivate myself to finish painting it, and it sucks because I want it painted.
I'm kind of the same way because I have the Galadark. We haven't even played in the Galadark because I just don't have it painted, and like there's all.
I don't think I'd want to play in the Galadark.
I don't think I want to necessarily, but like I have those breachers, and they're like really only good in like
even the new ones though. Like
they're not as limited, but they still have effects that are like. They excel more.
I hate that when they design stuff around the environment.
It's well done this time because like you can do it. It's like it targets any terrain. But I'm just saying in a Galadark, it's like the terrain is so much more important. Those guys just become more effective.
I think the way they handle terrain in this new edition actually makes it more like interactive as well because they have things like in the Vulcus terrain, they have the doors too. Like they have those terrain pieces, and if it has a door on it, it actually has rules for that, so you can actually open the door. I remember I did that and busted on your guys and blew them up.
I hated that.
But yeah,
hated it.
I I'm excited about that box, but I really want those Tyranids painted. And my wife loves the Tyranids. Like, she likes painting them, but she doesn't paint nearly enough. I kind of would have to force her to paint them, so maybe I will try to convince her to do that. But the miniatures for the new Tyranids look really cool, like really well done.
They don't do those books separately, do they? Because like I kind of want the
dossiers.
I'd like to have some of like the printed material, but I don't need the whole box of models.
So they used to. It's strange because when you order those new Ratlings, usually that's when they would do like the book, but they just don't seem to do the book anymore. Yeah. It seems like the dossiers are more just flavor now.
I mean, as long as you have it, that's all. I wouldn't play it by myself anyway, but I just...
Does the dossier from the Brutal and Cunning have missions in it?
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's got the... Because that's why it has the bunker assault. It's like a 3-part...
Well, what they might do is what they did in previous editions is they would have an annual release every year, so they would have a book that collected all the books that were released that year.
That'd be cool, yeah.
The only downside is when they did that previously, they took out all the flavor text. It was all just like rules.
That's fine. Like, I mean, with joint operation stuff, I wouldn't need the flavor text necessarily. I just need the scenarios. But yeah, I'm stoked about that. I think it's like a win-win. It's a great idea for a product line, and hopefully they keep doing it.
Yeah, maybe we actually might get around to like doing a filmed battle report someday, like of that, if we get it all painted up and stuff and it looks cool. Because I'm really excited for those sanctifiers. Like, I'm gonna be hopefully painting those pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a huge technical problem with that. It's more just about like having the setup, like, because we'd have to move all the stuff over to the game table or just have another setup. But yeah, we'll talk about that later.
It's a laptop.
Yeah, but it's just the cameras and stuff too. But yeah, the anything else tabletop stuff? Because I have tons of video game stuff and tons of TV stuff I've been doing lately because I've been stuck on the couch, haven't got the chance to actually play games. But
I think that's it, because we've been playing a lot of Iridia, but like that was with everything going on. I think that was the only regular thing we played because you couldn't really come over very much. I did come over and play Agamonia or Agamo, whatever. Is it Agamonia?
I think it's Agamonia. I don't hear it mentioned very out loud. I also should specify what
I was going to mention. We might be doing a new project ourselves. Like,
well, yeah, I was going to say like the design side of things. This is a good reminder for me. I need to like reach back out to Richard because he was texting me during my my couch. My couch sessions when I'm stuck on the couch, but he was asking how my recovery's going because he's got ideas for the Relic game. So he's still cracking on the Relic stuff. The problem is we're also working on a project for the Freedom 5, which has been talked about on their Discord a little bit. So it's not like a big secret, but Freedom 5 is really well received. Awesome game. I haven't got a chance to play as much as I want because we haven't had time to play.
I think we got a couple games in.
Yeah, but we've been playing so much Iridia. But anyway, Richard's been wanting to kick some ideas back to us on Relic, so there's that. We also are tinkering around with maybe a way to redo one of our previous games. Actually, maybe multiples of our previous games. We're also doing this concept for like, we've also talked about the roguelike we're doing. So we have a lot of projects juggling back and forth. It's hard to focus on just one. But I think our most pressing one is going to be just a small box card game. We have like an idea for just like a really modular solitaire game that can be combined to be cooperative and just very elegant,
Yeah, I mean, we could do a whole episode about this, but like we've been on quite a bit of a hiatus in the hobby world for like a while, like a few years now. Man, it's been like 3 years now. 3 years since we left Blacklist.
Yeah, 3. Because I remember 2020 when the virus hit. That was like when I was in Gamma after Blacklist. I was running the booth, and then like that was like the last big like live event we did. And then like I feel like after that it was more just like we just kept learning things were going not right,
Because yeah, I think it was 2022 when I was doing that boot camp. Yeah. That's when I finished that boot camp. So yeah, 2021 was when I started doing it. And anyway, yeah. So we've kind of got to the point where we're feeling good about Steamforge actually fulfilling this one like lingering project that was kind of like hung back there, which feels good to see that out in the world again. And it's kind of motivating us to like maybe do something else ourselves. But like we don't really want to try to do some big game and go Kickstarter it ourselves or something, because I don't think people would really feel good about backing our stuff when we have such a
and that'd be the roguelike, because the roguelike would be like a big game, like a big miniatures game.
We think it'd be kind of cool to do like a really small like card game that was mainly just a card game, so we could kind of get the assets ourselves and just fund it with our our own money and maybe do a small print run or something like that, maybe do a crowdfunding thing, but like no stretch goals, just to say like, hey, we're gonna see if we can make this game ourselves and show you what we can do, or maybe we pitch it to a publisher. We haven't decided yet, but we kind of want to start small on a new game.
I think regardless, is like the idea being is we want to design the game, and then like we'll figure out how the best way to publish it. Because like ideally, I would want to do a project we do ourselves, because like I've been publishing books myself, and it's like or myself, and I'd like to keep doing stuff like that where it's just a fun side hobby to have. Like it can't be self-sufficient just yet, but is that the right word? Self-supporting, whatever. Like it's funding itself essentially. It takes a while to get there, but like for example, look, I'm compiling art for the Malice of Light for like marketing stuff, but I'm also like compiling it for card art because I can make a game based on the Malice of Light.
It's just a shame because it's a lot of project management stuff involved with delivering a product, and like we have a bad reputation because of our association with the Blacklist, even though we weren't involved in the product, like
the business side,
the manufacturing, the fulfillment, what do you call that? The
logistics?
Logistics, yes. Yeah. The logistics involved in actual delivering the game. We just had no hands in that, and it sucks because we couldn't even contribute.
We were actively kept out of it.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Like we were just hidden away from it and just said, don't worry about it. Just focus on the design stuff. So that's what we did. We focused on the design stuff. And the design stuff we did pretty well, I think. People liked our games. Yeah. So
that was never the problem. I don't see people out there saying like, "Oh, the Sadlers suck at designing games." It's always more like they're scumbags because they stole our money.
And if they said that, I would be totally fine with it. Like, okay, fine, you don't like my games, great. Like, I can take that, whatever. I'm not going to argue with you. But like, I just feel like we are fully capable of doing that well. But we just haven't had a chance to show that off because we just weren't allowed to.
I think it's kind of a good situation because like we come out there and we have a small project that we don't need a ton of money to produce, but like we have enough people who believe in us and they know us enough that they're going to help us fund this and we deliver it. Like it's the best of both worlds because like we get a project done and it's like we show that we can do it, and this is real, this is us this time, and so like, I think it's going to be. Like if we go that route, I think it's gonna be interesting. But follow along with us because we'll be sharing our whole experience with it if we do it that way anyway. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll be starting small though, so it's like not nothing's gonna blow people's socks off like the best game ever, but it's gonna be a fun little project, I think.
Whatever helps me sell more books,
Yeah, that's the whole reason. That's the whole reason he was doing it. So.
No, in reality, the reason I'm writing books is because I miss like what I liked the most about making games was building a world and like putting out a product to flesh that world out. So it's like
I will say I think that your passion for writing is because you could do what you do with the games, but you have full control over it. You don't have to worry about other people's like catering to other people or like you just are involved in every aspect of it, so you control it. Which
they were mandates at Blacklist that we both hated, like make this a pulp culture reference or like make this silly character in this game, like like the pineapple pin guy. Screw that. Why did that stuff get in there?
That always bummed me out too because I remember specifically when we did Brook City at Blacklist. Every time we went to a convention, that thing always sold out. People are always like so fascinated by it because there was nothing like it. There was that's like Grand Theft Auto on the tabletop or something. It's like but you're playing as the cops. But it was also just kind of tainted with all these references to 80s action movies and stuff like that, which some people like. But it'd be fun to just do something like a buddy cop thing, just fully original. The tones.
The nice thing about board games, is like you cannot copyright those mechanics. So like, why we can't come out and say, "Here's Brook City." We can come out and say, "Here's I don't know, Corner Town" or something. And like,
but it would be totally different because I like the concept of Brook City, but it was kind of a mess. Like in development, it just didn't get enough time to cook, and it was
a rush. I mean, I will admit it was rushed because we were, I think people who see how the Blacklist timeline went, they can probably see why, like, we kept getting rushed for things because they needed the money to back pay stuff they weren't paying. So I mean, it makes more sense in retrospect.
I love the idea of like the criminal deck and then the case deck. So like criminals doing different kind of crimes, like that's such a cool combination. It could have been done so much better, but it was a cool concept.
So there's that. Yeah. So the board game stuff got a lot of things in the air, so hopefully we'll share some more details when we have more specifics, but rest assured I think you'll see some more Sadler Brothers games in the future.
I will say with my new job where I'm saving like an hour at least a day from commuting, like that's just time I could be put into like working on game ideas and stuff.
Games are easy to turn around once you have the art, so it takes the funding. And then we have some video games Lots of video game stuff been going on. I mean, still waiting for a lot of stuff, but we've been playing the normal stuff like Marvel Rivals. We still play Ravens Watch way too much. We should stop playing it, but I want to play it right now.
I keep telling you, I'm done.
I could go up and take a run right now.
I always enjoy playing it, but I'm done. Like
this is the problem because like we play it to the boss. Like we should stop playing this. But like right now, I haven't played it in a day. And like
stop hitting your mic. Stop hitting your mic stand.
I gotta fix that. But anyway, yeah. So we got Ravens Watch we still play, and we've been playing Warframe again, which is like
that was a game I played years and years ago on PC, and it was pretty fun. But I didn't play it a ton because it's a co-op game, and I was only playing with my friends, and they only wanted to play every now and then, so I didn't really like dig too deep into it. But it's been going strong for like a decade now. And my wife recently was like just looking for games to play, and she just busted that out just to play it. I was like, yeah, I'll play. I have an account. I'll just go in there and check it out. And then I got hooked back into it, just doing missions and stuff, unlocking stuff. It's still a fun game. It's definitely showing its age, but it's just so much content. And I do have that craving of hopping in a game and just unlocking stuff. Like I like persistent games. So it's fun to have things to do in that game, like unlocking new weapons and new warframes. There's also just so many different kinds of activities you can do, so many different types of missions. It's just a big, huge pool of content.
The game's fun. I don't like space ninjas necessarily, but
I don't like the ninja aspect of it at all. Like I think all the warframes, I wish they were chunkier, like traditional sci-fi looking warframes, but it's still fun. Like
it makes me want to play. It makes me wish Helldivers was on Xbox more and more, but
it makes me wish the Dark Tide was like that.
Yeah,
Dark Tide. If Dark Tide was that type of format, man, I'd be playing that game so much.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I loved my character in Dark Tide is like one of my favorite characters I've ever made in a game, and it sucks I can't play more games with him.
Yeah, I like the world and everything, and the game model seems cool. I don't like first person.
Just that preacher with a thunder hammer and an auto gun, like it's so cool. It's such a cool concept, and I can't play that more. I love it.
Kind of in the mood to play Space Marine 2 now too. I haven't played that in a while.
Yeah, I saw that there was a big update for Dark Tide, but again, it's just a few new mission types or whatever. There's no big huge content drop like they were supposed to do a battle pass or something back when the game first came out, and that never happened, which kind of sucks. But
yeah, I went through a little like obsession, kind of like a short-lived obsession. I still like it, but I bought on a whim. I bought Monster Hunter
Wilds.
Monster Hunter Wilds, which just came out. It just came out in March, right? This month.
Yeah,
So it's still
a big hotness.
But I remember playing Monster Hunter World or whatever it was back when they had it on Game Pass for a little while, and I was like, I only played like maybe a day, and I was like, whatever, and I didn't think much of it. But yeah, something about Wilds really hooked me. I don't love the aesthetics of that game. I don't like the weapons, like huge weapons. But man, the boss fights are enjoyable. Like I love fighting monsters. It's just like
I should have refunded it. Like I should have refunded that
really?
game. Yeah, I just
still think that way. Huh?
I should
have refunded Riley's because she's never going to play it. She played it the first few days and loved it, but she won't play again, I'm sure.
I just don't like it. Like I've played through the entire story now. Like I finally finished the last fight, and my wife plays it a lot too, and her and Brady are like, yeah, well, when we get to the end, we just go fight some boss. Like, yeah, that's sure. I'll still play it. Like, if they want me to play it, I'll play it. But I just do not ever want to play it.
The thing is like it's funny because you like Warframe for unlocking stuff, and I just don't get it. But like with Monster Hunter, I like unlocking stuff, and you don't get it. So it's like it's not just unlocking things. It's like it's also probably other aspects. But I mean, like, in Monster Hunter, there's so many monsters I haven't encountered yet. And there's all these different. I've only got like maybe a third of the different.
Sure, and like I said, I'll always play it, but it's just the gameplay just does not click with me. Like I don't understand why it's so popular. Like I just don't get it. Maybe, and also the co-op is just so clunky. Like Capcom, I don't understand what they're doing with their menus and stuff. It's just so dated.
I think it has the similar effect of like some board games that are like really complicated, and somebody learns it, and they like it almost because they learned it. They feel proud, because I feel like Monster Hunter is like very complicated, and I felt like I was liking it more because I was understanding it in a way.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you understand it, yeah, you can. The barrier of entry is gone, so you can kind of just focus on what's supposed to be fun. Instead of just being confused.
Well, I just mean like you almost have that rewarding feeling where it's like, oh, I get this. I get how to arrange my item pouch, because everything is so complicated in that game. So like I can't argue saying like, oh, this game is great. That's why I kind of had this like short-lived obsession where like I still like the game and I'll still play. I'm not as compelled to like play it as much as I was when I first got into it. But it's like I can't like highly recommend it, saying go get this, it's great. But it's like I can say, yeah, I enjoyed it for sure.
I just also do not understand why the weapons have to be so big.
Yeah, I think it's just the IP. I think it's just like that's what makes it unique or whatever. Plus, you're just fighting huge monsters, so maybe it's like supposed to be you have to have something big to carve these guys up.
Yeah, I also playing Elden Ring. I got really into intricate combat and stuff like that. And this game is not that at all. It's just bashing. But didn't seem to be a lot of combos. I mean,
it depends. Like if you're playing like the dual blades, there's a lot of combos. I mean, not a lot of different combos, but like each. Like there's like a set of combos, and if you do them right, it opens up a new set of combos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using the hammer a lot, and a lot of it's just like charging. Like you charging in, and the longer you hold your charge, you unlock different payoffs or whatever. But then you get stuck in this spinning thing, which you can't get out of, which is kind of annoying.
But it's also, you have to remember, like, there's so many different, like, approaches where you can pull down rocks sometimes on enemies. You can, set traps. So, there's a lot of environmental stuff. So, fights can be pretty interesting if you know how to use everything in the game.
Yeah.
So.
It's just, again, it's something that I'll play, and, I will enjoy aspects of it, but it's not a game where I'm like, I got to play this.
Yeah.
I did randomly buy WWE 2K25, 2K25, because I hadn't played a wrestling game in years. And I remember back when we were kids, we bought WCW versus NWO World Tour. We got it for Christmas one year for 64, and it was like one of the best gaming experiences we ever had because we took it over to my friend's house, and there were 4 of us, and we were just playing these big battle royales. If you look back at those graphics, they are horrendous.
Yeah, aren't the crowds like just complete like abyss, like just black?
Well, I think they're just like the static flat objects,
Yeah, but like I think you see beyond them too. They're like they exist.
You can see behind them because they only show the side of them.
Yeah.
But the characters themselves are all just chunky blocks or whatever. But anyway, WWE 2K25 is really good. Like I played through the My Rise campaign, which is a really silly story about NXT and WWE having some rivalry, but I was like unlocking the Ultimate Warrior, unlocking a bunch of classic wrestlers and stuff like that, and the gameplay is just really fun. I don't know if anybody's into wrestling games, but that one surprised me. Like I haven't played a wrestling game in years, and I didn't think it'd be very fun just to fight somebody, but the gameplay is really fun, very smooth. Graphics are great. I would recommend if you're into that kind of stuff, but it's fun.
It reminds me, this is more tabletop-y, but like I was talking about, we've always joked about doing like a tabletop wrestling game because we've always loved the theme of wrestling, just like the characters and everything. Because it's kind of like the same appeal of like superheroes or GI Joes, because it's like insane characters, but it's just like it's just the showmanship of it all. But anyway, in the Relic Myers sequel, there's a lot of references to this wrestling franchise called Match Night Mayhem, which is kind of like a knockoff of WWF, obviously. But I was thinking it'd be funny because I wrote Emerald Decay as a meta book because it's a film series based in that world. But it'd be funny to do like a little joke wrestling game that's called Match Night Mayhem and have it be like a tie into the book series.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do one, and I always felt like it'd be so limited because you want the ring and you want like the standard like formula of like grapples and punches. Like, but how to keep that interesting where it's probably doable, but I've never been that excited about designing games that are like one-on-one, so it depends on what kind of format it would be, but I've always loved the idea of professional wrestling. Is just I haven't watched it since like high school. We used to watch it a lot back in the day, but
this is a side rant, but I was really impressed with that. I forget what company made it. It might have been Gale Force 9 or something, but there was a wrestling game, a WWF game or WWE game that came out a few years ago, and it was really impressive.
That was probably like 8 years ago.
Was it?
It was back when you were at your old house. Like, because I remember playing it like
that was
in your front room.
Yeah, I was impressed with that design. It was pretty
actually
cool.
like a decade ago. Like a decade
crazy.
ago.
That's
This is
wild.
2015.
Yeah, it's wild. Anyway, I think it's most of the video game stuff we've been messing with. We're still waiting for the Night Rain. We talked about that Elden Ring Night Rain. It's going to be coming out in May.
Towerborn comes out before that, so there's something to play in May, early May, because Towerborn comes out at the end of April, and that's it's on Xbox. I think it's on PC for early access right now, but it's like a side-scrolling beat 'em up adventure game, kind of like live service, where you're like at a tower, you go do missions, you get gear upgrades and stuff. It seems pretty fun, but you pick a weapon and that kind of sets your abilities.
I forget. Do we usually do listener questions and then reading and watching stuff, or
I don't remember. I think the listener questions were usually last. I think.
Okay,
but
well, like we can talk about what we've been reading because I haven't been reading anything. I've been writing too much. I've been reading my stuff, which is not as fun. But I've been reading the Elden Ring rule book, so I'm behind on my reading stuff right now. But you read something.
I finally got around to reading the Harmony of Hexes, which is the second book in the Relic Myers collection.
It's called Relic Myers and the Rhythms of Ruin, and the Goodreads page is up, but your review isn't up there. You haven't reviewed
I did not read. It's not the Rhythms of Ruin.
What did I say? No, sorry. It's called Relic Myers and the Harmony of Hexes, and the Goodreads page is live now. It's only got one review, and it's not yours.
Maybe I'll go review that. Yeah, but it was fun read. It was. I mean, I didn't read it as fast as the first one because I was kind of had some other stuff going on. But I do still think I like the first one better. But I think that's just kind of inherently, setting the stage, like the story. The first story seems more monumental because it's introducing you to all the characters and stuff like that. But
that's always the case. Like Severance, season 2 is great, but I always go back to season 1.
Well, season 1
it lays the groundwork,
But yeah, it's I definitely enjoyed it. It's a good book. I had no real complaints about it. There was I can't really talk about much without spoiling stuff, but I would say if you haven't read the first one, go read the first one and get ready for the second one because it's a fun read. Highly recommended.
Also, I will mention that I'm doing the ARC campaign right now, so you can read the book for free if you want. All I ask is that you review it on Goodreads because that's how I get attention for when the book comes out. So I'll actually include a link on this post when this episode goes out if you want to quote unquote apply to be on one of my ARC readers. I approve anybody who applies. I just want to make sure that hey, here's where you go to review it. And also, if you haven't read the first book, I'm going to be putting that on sale leading up to the release of Harmony of Hexes as a promotion thing. So a perfect time to check out the series if you want to. So
on a related note, I actually did read another one of Brady's books. He released a little, what do you call it, a novelette?
Novelette, I think they're called.
Of the Emerald Decay, which is like a little book. It's a book that's referenced in Relic Myers world. Like Relic Myers reads this book from this company that has makes movies and stuff called Constrained Media, and Brady decided to write a book of that, a book based off of the fake movie or whatever.
No, it's because Relic's reading the sequel of the book of the franchise, so this is the book that inspired first book of the series that inspires the movie franchise in the fake world. So it's very meta.
But yeah, it's a really. I think some people in the Discord actually grabbed a copy. It's a very tiny little book. You probably read it in a day or something.
You could read it while you're pooping. I'm sure.
I read it. I read it while Amelia was getting a haircut. She went to Great Clips, and I was like, I'll just read this while I'm waiting for. So yeah, I kind of read that pretty quickly. It's a fun read. It kind of has the same vibe as Relic Myers, so it's a good introduction to Brady's writing style and stuff. So if you haven't read anything, it's a good little appetizer.
I got a review this morning for Emerald Decay. I didn't expect to get reviews on it because I'm not really putting it out on these groups to get reviews or anything. But one of my readers posted that they enjoyed it so much they bought one of my other books. So I was like, that's cool. Maybe I should do more of these little tiny books because they're very approachable. People can just digest them really easily. So.
Cat's looking at me like he's crazy.
Yeah, he hasn't been reading anything. Watching wise, I've been watching way too much because I'm stuck on the couch. So I've been rewatching a lot of old shows. One of those old shows.
Did Severance season 2 start and end since our last episode?
I think so. Yeah. No, because it started on Riley's birthday, early, mid-January. So it's
January.
Yeah, her birthday's January 17th. That's
only isn't there I guess 10 weeks.
Yeah, they stretch them out. But so Severance was awesome. Obviously, we haven't talked about that on the show because we just finished it. Can't spoil it, obviously. This is not a spoiler, but in regards to Severance, I'll start with that. So the first season was fantastic, masterpiece. Second season was great. I loved it. It kept getting progressively better. The second season finale, I had no problems with, but I just felt like the first season finale was better. It delivered a better finale.
I feel like the first season finale made it harder to wait for the next season.
Yeah,
I like this finale on season 2 because I'm excited for season 3, but I'm not like, oh my god, I gotta find out what's happening.
Yeah, I guess less of cliffhanger can be a good thing. Where it's still a cliffhanger, but it's not as drastic, I guess, not as abrupt. But
the first season, we were just like, oh my god, I need to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, because it changes the understanding of the world so much. But that show is great. Go watch that show. I don't know what it was, but I started rewatching True Detective randomly.
Yeah, thanks.
Because I was in the mood for something gritty, I think. And plus, I wanted to watch Night Country, the new one, because everyone kept saying that was pretty good. And I was like, man, I feel so behind on that because I watched the first season, never got through the second season, and never touched the third season. So I went back, rewatched the first season, but before I got to the second season, because I knew I wouldn't enjoy it as much, I watched the first season like 3 more times because it was so good. So I just kept rewatching it. I rewatched the whole season in one day last week sometimes because I was like so hooked on it. But yeah, anyway, I finally went on and watched season 2, which was not great. It's not terrible. It's like there's some good acting in that show. Just the case. The actual case they're trying to solve just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just like it doesn't feel compelling. It doesn't feel like I care at all about what the evidence leads up to or anything.
That second season is responsible for me not watching the rest of the shows. Like
I'm sure most people, yeah.
Because that's since Brady has been talking about it so much, it made me want to go back and watch season 1 again because I've never watched 3 and 4, and I've wanted to, but I wanted
Did you watch 2 all the way through?
I watched 2 all the way through, but I had to force myself to finish it because I just was not.
Yeah, I only got halfway through before I finished it. So this time I actually sat through and got through it. And it's like, it's fine, but it just feels like a totally different type of show. It doesn't feel like it's in that same canon universe, but I know they're all vignettes. But
there didn't feel like a buddy cop show at all. Like it didn't feel like
because it's 3 of them teamed up, but like it almost feels more like Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn are the buddy cops almost, like the criminal and the cop. But like even them, it doesn't really feel like they're that. I don't know.
Honestly, I forgot he was in it. So you just said that just now because it was the guy, problem is motorcycle guy, and then
the problem is Vince Vaughn, the guy that played Gambit, Taylor Kish. He was the guy that played the first Gambit. But yeah, Vince Vaughn's character, I like Vince Vaughn. He's a great actor. But I feel like first off, he feels so phony in this show. Like he doesn't. I feel like I don't believe his character at all. But also like he doesn't feel like he belongs in this show.
Isn't he like a businessman or something?
He's like a corrupt businessman like type. He's like a kind of a con man or whatever. But yeah, I don't feel like he belonged there. Anyway, season 2 is whatever. But season 3, again, I didn't ever watch this one, so coming in fresh, I was so relieved how good it was right off the bat because it was like back to season 1 quality. It was just really good. That season I just churned through as well. By the end of it, I wasn't as sold like as much as the first season. The first season still is like it sets the bar so high, but season 3 is still really cool. I really enjoyed it, and I'm just like a few episodes into season 4 finally, and I love it. It's like a horror show almost. It's really really cool.
Yeah, I'm actually in the process of rewatching season 1 because I can't rewatch Severance anymore. Like I could, but I've been watching it on repeat like every night. Just I'm so into watching it. So I'm kind of taking a break from rewatching that, and my new bedtime ritual is watching a couple episodes of True Detective. So I'm going to finish up season 1. And then I'll move into. I'll skip 2.
You can literally skip 2. Yeah,
I'm not gonna watch 2 again because otherwise I won't get to 3 and 4. So I'm gonna watch those again. But I've also been. My daughter just randomly decided she wanted to start watching The Walking Dead after I finally just finished that show. I'm like, I finally watched it all. I don't have to watch it again for a long time. But then she's like, I want to watch it. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm started over, but she's plowing through it. We just finished up season 2, and that was last night. So. We watched the first episode of season 3 last night. She stayed up till like midnight because she just wanted to watch it. So she's really into it. So I'll probably be watching that for a while again. Maybe I'll watch that Maggie spinoff. I'm not sure. I saw that was on Netflix now.
Oh yeah. I need to go back and get through the.
Did you even watch the Rick one?
I haven't finished Fear the Walking Dead. I haven't even started Daryl. I have never touched the Rick.
Yeah, I couldn't finish Fear the Walking Dead. I'm on like the last couple seasons, but I'm just not motivated to finish it.
Yeah. Still like the franchise, but I feel like you don't need that many spinoffs. I think it's okay to just move on maybe.
Oh, also I've been watching the new Daredevil show, which actually was much better than I thought it was going to be. I just watched the 2 newest episodes this week. They were both really good.
I'm one behind. I still got to watch the other one. I watched the bank robbery one. Was pretty cool, but I need to watch the next one.
And watching that, and then also watching John Bernthal as Shane in Walking Dead has made me want to go back and watch The Punisher again. So every now and then I've been watching an episode of season 1 of The Punisher. I love that show.
Didn't they say he's doing a new show with Netflix or with the Disney, or was it just like people saying they want him to? I thought there was.
I thought there was talk of it. I'm not sure if it's been confirmed or not, but I would not be surprised.
Be cool
because it's weird Disney doing that, but yeah, it's that I love that show. I think that's pretty much. I haven't been watching any new movies. I saw that new. I'm not a Bob Dylan fan or anything like that, but I saw that movie was on Hulu, and I kind of want to watch that just because I like biopics and stuff.
Yeah, I like period pieces, especially like music themed ones.
If there's one musician I'm the least interested in, it's Bob Dylan.
Well, I think I'm
his life story might be interesting. So
I think I'm even less interested in Johnny Cash personally, but like I still like that movie.
I think I'd be more interested in Johnny Cash just based on reputation, but like because he had like had so he's like a bad boy or something.
Well,
but
I'm looking at it more like impact, like cultural impact, because Bob Dylan, I don't even know much of his music, but like I know I probably wouldn't like it. Yeah, I know I've heard it, but like
what was that? It was Bob Odenkirk when he was doing in The Office.
Yeah, but I think I'll watch it just for like the cultural impact and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been watching too. I've been watching Fear Street. Those count as movies, right? They still feel like a show.
Fear Street.
It's like a trilogy.
Amelia keeps saying that when she's trying to say Walking Dead. She's like, I want to watch Walking Dead.
Fear Street's cool. I keep forgetting how much I like that show, that movie, or those movies. So we have a listener question. You said, right? That's.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Nemesis Nate was asking he's like, what was the first crowdfunding project that you backed?
Oh, you know what mine was? Oh, this is a funny story. I think it might have been two, because I think we both backed that Star Command game.
I think that was technically the first one I backed. But
yeah,
if it's board games, it'd probably be Zombicide.
Mine was Airborne in Your Pocket.
Oh yeah,
which never delivered until like just 2 years ago, and that I backed that back in 2012, so it was like almost a decade late, and I didn't think I'd ever get it. I just kind of wrote it off, and it was like a game where you just had a deck of cards, like a deck of solitaire playing cards, but they were just like themed toward army, like World War II stuff. So like you land, you go like resolve some events, and you try to blow up a gun, your paratroopers. But it was a cool concept, but the gameplay was like very, very thin. But I just backed it because I like the idea of it, because I like compact games, but never got it. But it finally delivered. Someone came in and saved the day and delivered it.
Yeah, I think the first like actual crowdfunding thing I was involved in was that Star Command, because I think buddy Tom Mason mentioned that, and he was into the concept of it. But it was like a mobile game or something. It was like $15.
Isometric view.
I'll back that, whatever. But I think when I was at FFG was when Kickstarter was like starting to become more popular, and I saw that Zombicide game. I knew nothing about it, the very first one. I was like, oh, cool, a zombie board game? Because we liked that Zombies game back when we were young. Like, we played that all the time. And like, oh, this is a really well-produced Zombies, which would have honestly been better. Would have been a lot better, yeah. But Zombicide was not what I wanted it to be. But it was like $90 or something. And it was like so many stretch goals, and that was a whole new thing at the time. It's like, oh my God, all this stuff for $90. So I think that was what my first project was. I could actually pull up my Kickstarter while we're talking about that just to double check, because that was before the days of like GameFound or like that. Kickstarter was like the only thing on the market.
There's only one platform. I think Alien Frontiers was the first big, or Alien Frontiers, I forget what it was called, but that was like the first big like board game Kickstarter that kind of started the trend.
What's that?
It was a game called Alien Frontiers. It was like a dice game. That's the one Tom Mason he backed, and I was like, what does backing mean?
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was like the first game that kind of set the standard for like, I think it had stretch goals too and everything, so kind of made the formula of how that should work.
Man, Kickstarter's been around for so long.
I know. I can't imagine scrolling through my projects. I think that's what you're doing right now.
It's so depressing, dude. See, I know that I've sold a lot of this stuff, so like I got my money back, but like there's so much money spent on this crap. Actually, man, I don't even see Zombicide on here.
Maybe it was me that backed it.
What was Zombie 15? Mega Man board game?
Mega Man?
Police Precinct Second Edition? I don't remember any of this stuff. Police Precinct, remember that game?
Yeah, I do.
That was a cool game.
I mean, it was a cool idea for the game. I didn't love it, but
man, yeah, I don't know if this just didn't register, but the first thing that shows on here for me was Blackwater Gulch Rebels and Reinforcements. That was my first.
It's probably putting like the canceled ones, or like because it orders them by like what's been delivered and stuff. But whatever, we'll take that to Discord. We'll have a discussion about it and do some more research. But
maybe it is like time limit wise, like when they were delivered and stuff like that. So
we're coming up on an hour, so I think we got enough yakking for today. I'm sure everyone's bored of our.
Yeah, so hopefully you're excited or happy to see another episode pop up, or if you maybe haven't followed us since we didn't post for a month. But
poking the shoulder to
let us know if you want us to keep doing more. We're happy to do these, and especially when we have things to talk about. I feel like we have too much to talk about this time, so maybe waiting a couple weeks is probably a good idea.
Yeah, maybe we'll do monthly podcasts until we start actually making games. Then we can actually have more to talk about when they start coming out. So. Thanks Thanks for tuning in. Make sure, don't forget to go join the Books of Horror Facebook group and vote for Relic Myers and the Rhythms of Ruin on Friday, April 4th. I'll see you guys in that group. When you
also, make sure you pre-order Typhon when it comes out,
Yeah.
so they do more joint operations with Kill Team.
Make sure they need more money to.
GW needs your money. They're desperate.
All right, check you all later.
See you later.